Many of our present-day technological advancements and inventions seem very superficial to man's own well-being. Where did we go wrong? What rule of thumb can the average person use to decide what is beneficial and what is detrimental for his well-being in the long run?
Our present-day technological advancement and inventions appear to us superficial and even inimical to man's well-being because we have overdone and used them to an immoderate degree, which is a stumbling block to man's progress. What is lacking is wisdom. If we were to cast a glance at the history of mankind, we would find that every civilization of the past reached a certain zenith and then fell to the earth, never to rise again. Egyptians, Greeks, Romans, Indo-Aryans, and Chinese had almost arrived at the same point at which the modern Western civilization arrived in the 17th century, and in some cases even advanced beyond it. For instance, Egyptians had a knowledge of astronomy and arts of healing, which were attained by modern scientists in the 18th century. But they fell. Their technological advancement and science did not save them from decay. A moment's reflection is sufficient to show that the more powers attained need a more disciplined mind to handle them. We went radically wrong when we devoted every ounce of our energy to gain more and more knowledge and control over the forces of nature, ignoring the fact that side by side we too had to reform and perfect ourselves. As if ordained by fate, as a punishment for our arrogance, we at once at the same time did what is incredible. We rejected religion, the only force that could help man in becoming more and more self-disciplined and perfect. The very foundation of religion rests on the self-perfection of every human being. We summarily rejected it as a false doctrine, as superstition, as a myth. And the result is that after 200 years of scientific triumphs, we are now face to face with a contingency where the annihilation of the whole race stares us in face. Science went wrong when it devoted its attention entirely to the physical world, ignoring the mind, its laws, and the fact that there are other powers and other forces which rule our inner being. This polarity in the attitude of science has resulted in the present crisis, and it will not be solved unless man retraces his steps and starts again on the path which is destined for him.
In your recent essay entitled Professor von Weizsäcker, the Scientist of the Future, you write that a new breed of mystic scientists will emerge to guide the race. What qualities of mind must the rulers, thinkers, and scientists of the future hold during such a threatening period in mankind's existence?
This is the heyday of science. During the last 50 years, science has made such an amazing progress as could not be imagined even in the 19th century. It has opened such possibilities before the eyes of man as could not even be dreamt of before. But what do we see so far as human beings and societies are concerned? Have men become more noble, more honest, kinder, or more benevolent to deal with? Or is the position the reverse of this? Is there love and amity between nations, or we find hatred seething everywhere, even between neighbors and erstwhile friends? Do we not see the earth threatened by a disaster of unprecedented magnitude if a war breaks out? Do we also not see small fights, large-scale massacres, limited wars going on at many spots on the earth, each one of which is fraught with gravest consequences for the peace of the earth? If this is the position in this age of scientific triumphs and technological victories, what will be the state of the society after another 25 or 30 years? It would most probably be more tense, more full of alarming situations, more critical, more threatening, and more fraught with danger than what it is today. How long can the human brain bear the stress and tension and the risk of instantaneous annihilation during the coming centuries? When we look at the present world, with all the learning that it possesses, with all the knowledge that it has, with all the information that it has gained, does it not mean that there is something wrong in the leading figures, the leading intellectuals, and the leading spiritual teachers of the world, which is keeping mankind in such a state of ferment and tension every day? This is what I mean when I say that the future leaders should be mystical, should have the experience of their inner selves to understand life better than they are doing now. Man is not what he appears to be from his exterior, or what we can know of him from the observation of his body and his physiology. He is something more. He is a soul. He is a mind. He is a conscious entity about which we have no knowledge at the moment. Therefore, it is those people alone who have greater knowledge of his soul, of his mind, of his consciousness, combined with the knowledge of his physiology and the world in which he lives, who will be able to guide him rightly on the path. It is not now those scientists, those politicians, those intellectuals who have only the knowledge of the physical world